my projected earnings are around like, I'd have to do all the calculations, but roughly around like 600,000. And I have my very first candidate actually starting this Monday. I just called him this afternoon to make sure like everything's good. He's excited, so I should get my first check in the mail for him. So that'll be 8,000. And it's really like worth the time. It's affordable. You know, it has all the positives.
What inspired me the most was your consistency in posting, and then a couple of the videos I watched with testimonials. I was like, I got to do this. Like, these guys are killing it. It's a no-brainer. One client, then it bumped up to 2. Then a few weeks later, I had like 3 clients.
You sent me a screenshot of.
Yep.
Collectively, about $25,000.
Yeah, just over 25,000, which is
over 25 grand.
Crazy money, you know,
right.
For like, it's a third of my paycheck as a nurse.
And so right now I'm looking at about a 26K pipeline, and I've collected about a little over 6,500 from that one client. So they actually opened another location in South Haven, and they're actually expanding in a lot of places. So I'll be helping with that. And my second client is going to have me hire for the 2 other roles that they have. And so it's going to be great. All in all, it'll get at least 70K. Most definitely just go for it. I feel like it's worth it. One client, you've made your investment back plus some. It's easy, and I think overall, investing in yourself is a big thing, and then it's an opportunity to make X amount of dollars. It just depends on how hard you want to go and what you're trying to make.
So like I had no experience whatsoever, and that's why I took the initiative of really just taking the initiative and getting into the program that you had, because I knew from what I saw in your YouTube videos that I was gonna be able to learn from you, and then get my money back from the program, and sure enough, it worked out. It's amazing. I mean, my first invoice that I sent to my client was $29,000 for one offer, and that's amazing. And currently, there's a couple more. Yeah, thank you, man. And a couple more in the interview process that's in the final stages. Who knows? But I feel pretty confident at least one of them will get an offer.
Yep.
And
so that would be like another 30,000.
It depends, 20 to 30K. Again, in my first, it's the 29th now, so I mean,
still we go January 31st.
Right,
so I mean,
right.
you could basically have a 60,000. Let's say conservatively, you could have a $60,000 January.
Right, and that's crazy, right? But that's what you teach. And in the pipeline right now, conservatively, I would say it's around $250,000 right now. That's pretty much like guaranteed that, hey, that's what we talked about with the company.
Right.
It could be more. It could be more.
They gave you those roles. Those roles are open for you to fill.
I wouldn't be able to land this kind of opportunity without getting into the program, the things that you taught us, the tools and the way that you teach us, from client acquisition, outreach, and drafting up your contract and just building that relationship. It's pretty great. It's amazing. And I'm gonna say this now is that for anybody that's out there who are on the fence, that's thinking about starting your own agency, or you're already started but you're falling short, or you're stuck, don't wait any longer. This is the time frame, the beginning of the year.
Easiest way to put it is like, after I joined the program, within a couple months I was able to get like 6 to 7 contracts, and I got those placements. And some of them were like more than one place, so it was like
the volume. Yeah,
I got like one contract, but I actually got a repeat client within like 2 months. It was the same client. He just came back to me. So I guess you could play with the numbers a bit, but it was like, it was probably, I would say, like half a dozen contracts.
Nice.
That I was able to get within like 2-3 months. Yeah, I made 50,000 in 3 months.
50K.
Sorry.
50K in 3 months. Just
I got 50,000 in 3 months. It's as real. I was very happy. I would say I got my first client pretty quickly, within 2.5 weeks, I got my first client, which was like, I was shocked. I got my first client in 2.5 weeks, and then I got another client after that. So I was able to get the clients pretty quickly, and just following your program. And before I knew it, I had to quit my job. I mean, you just have to go for it. You just have to jump in. Just go in without thinking too much about it. I mean, the program is definitely good. I recommend it. So if you have a good program, if you have a good mentor, if it looks good on paper and makes sense, then you should go for it. Don't think too much about it, because then you'll hesitate.
Sage advice. Everyone should listen back to that twice. I always say that people undervalue themselves by about 50%. And I think that's what happens. And imposter syndrome kicks in, hesitation, like you mentioned. And when you think too much about things, you go nowhere. But when you execute, take action, and actually say, hey, I can do this. I can match my income, leave my 9-to-5, like I can become my own boss. Like, it's a thing, it's real. So then you took the leap and you jumped in, and you bet on yourself, right? And all that. So I love that.
In my first 3 months, I had probably about 5 contracts already.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
And I closed my first deal within actually little over 1 month. I was closing my first deal.
Right on par, which is what we aim for. So you hit that right on the mark.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I pretty much got to a point where I was overwhelmed with contracts, where I couldn't even fill them all, because I was just overwhelmed. I just had too many.
Yeah. That happens. That happens when you go hard in the business development.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just like, I couldn't believe it. My DocuSign was just like
blowing up.
Yeah, it was
good problems to have, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I remember my first check was $15,000.
Okay.
Remember that. And I think from here on, it's a little over 100,000 so far.
Gotcha. So north of 6 figures. And I know you just mentioned you just capped off a 12,000 for this year already.
Last week deposited 12 grand. So.
Cha-ching.
I was doing some recruiting for a company, and realized, hey, I could be making this money for me, not for another person. So that's kind of what kind of stirred the pot there.
Exactly, right. Like we always say, like, when you're in a 9-to-5 or when you're at corporate, you're making somebody else's bank account bigger, not yours.
100%. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I was just like, man, this could be going in my pocket, not someone else's. So I would say in my first month, I really just went after it and hit it hard. I probably got maybe 4 or 5 contracts in my first month. And it was mainly just because I was like, okay, if I'm going to dedicate my whole time to this, I better start making money right away, or my wife's going to be mad.
So, right.
And then this year, not to get ahead of myself or anything, but we're looking at multiple 6 figures. So we've consistently grown over the last 3 years.
Love it. Yeah, year-over-year growth. That's where it's at, right? And you'll only scale higher and higher, right, as you proceed, because you know the game, you're expanding the game.
Find someone that knows what they're doing. So like if you're getting into recruiting, learn from Ben. Like he knows what he's doing, and then from there just go all in. So like once you learn and kind of figure it out, then just don't look back. Just dive in, and every day, if it's creating a schedule, because working for yourself, you've got no one to tell you when you got to be at work. Just dive in and do it. Just have a schedule. Wake up early, work, and then I don't know. So I'm working late all the time. So just keep working no matter what time it is. Don't have that 9-to-5 mentality.
Right now we've done, I want to say we're in 15 different offices in the legal side. And then we are in 5 different offices on the medical side. On average, for the direct hire placements, we're averaging anywhere between, this is on one contract, anywhere between 15 to 25,000 per placement for direct hire. We've done multiple of those. We've done really a little over 100,000 with the direct hire. And then now recently in the last couple of months, we've been doing the contract hire. And so in which we're at about 20,000 a month right now, as far as like the payroll on that aspect, and it continues to grow. So, and really where we're at in our projections of really going to the first quarter and then by the second quarter, we should be at, I want to say close to about 400,000 in payroll. And then by the end of the year, we're projected to do, with combined of direct hire and then also the contract hire, close to $1 million. So for me, it's just like, look, if you're gonna get into this, don't go at it alone. Find someone that can coach you. Find a community that you can ask questions to, because no matter what step you're at, there is gonna be someone that has already passed that step or is getting ready into that step, and they're taking a different approach than what you know. You just get in there and really have this community, but also have the coach that can lead you down the way too.
And so when I first started the program, it took me about 2 months to get my first client. There's some reasons for that. You know, I was kind of new face on the block in the business, you know, and I was already well known, you know, as a manufacturing manager. People were like, okay, what are you doing? So once I got my first client, the ball just started rolling from there. Right now, I have placed, to be honest, Ben, I can't even really count how many people and how many positions I've placed. I know that it's well over 100.
I love it. That's amazing. Yeah. Incredible.
So since I've joined the program, all the way till today, I have made over $300,000.
Perfect.
In revenue.
I love it.
So I quit my job, and now I do some consulting, but I only do that because I want to. I really don't have to. Recruiting, it has really given me the freedom to work from anywhere, you know, in the nation. I don't leave the nation. So, but yeah, you know, and I do some consulting for some, you know, production companies, but I only do that because I want to. When I got in your program and I realized that this was going to work, and I realized that, you know, I can easily get clients, from what I've done before, from taking my knowledge from what I've done before, it really helped with the client acquisition. And then your methods of, you know, combining your methods of client acquisition really helped.
To the end of the program, how many contracts were you able to land?
Yeah, sure. So we, during that time, we were able to land 8 contracts within that time. Obviously, since that point, you know, we've continued to add more. But just within that first initial 12 weeks, we were able to add 8 clients to our business.
Wow. So like in the span of 2 months, you were able to do like a contract a week, basically.
Yeah.
What's the revenue that you collected?
Sure. So it's definitely north of the 75K mark. I know that in October, we had our biggest month where we collected 51,000 in revenue, which was our biggest month. And then from that point, we've just been focused on scaling, you know, bringing in a couple full-time recruiters to, you know, double, triple those efforts. And it's a whole new learning curve. But as far as revenue goes, that's kind of what we've seen. So very excited.
Awesome.
And that was our third month, pretty much after we started the program. So
not too shabby.
Not too bad.
So just based on the contracts we have now and the open positions, it's in the, I would say, the range of anywhere from 120K to 200K that we're working on right now. And again, yeah, that's kind of a broad range, but you know, that's what we feel confident that, you know, us and our team can actually close within Q1.
So while I was in the program, I secured 3 signed contracts from 3 different clients, which totaled to 6 roles between those 3.
Ooh, nice. So volume clients that gave you a couple of roles each.
Since joining the program, it's been about 5 or 10 different clients.
Awesome.
Actively, I have about 5 clients. Some I've kind of sifted through and realized they were not the best deal. So one of the best parts of the program is just the sheer mass at which you can try to find people. And so, you know, that's actually one of the things that pushes people to join the program. You don't want to be stuck with just one boss the rest of your life. A lot of them still have more positions that once I fill these, they have more for me. But my clients are giving me, and then what some of my partners are splitting with me, I have over $300,000 of business in the pipeline right now.
And that's just for
and that's
Q1
just my first
efforts.
quarter. If you follow the principles in the program to the T, I mean, I'm seeing the success.
And you're a husband and you're a dad and all of that too, like on top of your job.
I'm active in my church and have a lot of responsibilities there. So I've tried all kinds of other different businesses to try to break out on my own and do this and do that, have different backup plans, but they always took up way too much of my time to be fruitful, or there were too many steep learning curves to get past. You know, I'm a certified Lean Six Sigma black belt. I tried different consulting things, you know, getting the clients for it just never panned out. This has been the right thing. It's taken a lot of my different professional background skills that I've had, and then my interviewing skills, you know, interviewing the candidates myself as a hiring manager, and the flexibility of it. All of it's just poured into like the perfect opportunity for me. The payout is huge. You know, you set your own schedule. You can do marketing till wee hours of the night, wee hours of the morning even. You know, put on some good music in the background, just go through different marketing activities and have all of those things go out the next day. You can, if you want to only work certain hours, you only market a certain time zones in the country. So for me, it's the payout for sure, the flexibility. You know, if I were to do this full time, I could do it from anywhere in the world where I have an internet connection. With the first placement, I've already, you know, more than doubled all of my investment just with the first placement. The things that I learned just from the first few modules paid for themselves. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many mistakes I was going to make. I would be light years behind where I am if I hadn't invested.
And right now we average 7.8 closed clients, new closed clients per week. And that's been pretty consistent over the last, I would say, 4 to 5 months. We have our staffing business and our direct hire business run on 2 separate P&Ls just to kind of keep it clean and allocate the costs the right way. So year to date, since February, really, when we started your program, on our direct hire side of the business, we billed $845,000 so far this year. Wow. And, you know, we're averaging about $100,000 to $110,000 a month right now. You know, the way that we had done business development prior had basically become obsolete, you know, because you can't get out and see people and that sort of deal. And so I was freaking out a little bit and wanted to, you know, be proactive. So, you know, watching your YouTube videos on cold email, and I'm not a salesperson by trade. That's not my background. I am one just as the result of being a business owner, but that's not what I'm trained in. So I don't really, you know, before this, marketing and all that was just kind of, you know, buzzwords to me. And so seeing that on your YouTube videos and being able to do my own due diligence and validate, like, yes, there's something here to this that I think I could, you know, learn from and then scale quickly. I can assure you, I've researched all sorts of different, you know, startup opportunities and, you know, fads, and all the, you know, drop shipping and all this, right? There's not one singular thing that I've been able to identify where you can get in and really start a meaningful business at such a low cost and get ramped up to where you have money coming into your bank account, let's say within 30 to 60 days. I just don't know of anything else out there, you know, where you can have that kind of setup and consistently, and from a probability standpoint, actually execute that and see that actually transacting into your bank account. It just doesn't exist.